Hello, welcome to Healthcare for Artists. My name is Dr. Montserrat Andres, and today I'm here with Lillie Last, dancer and choreographer. She performs with a company here in Portland called Espacio Flamenco. And one of the reasons that we have Lillie here with us today is that the majority of the time when I'm treating artists, I'm treating a lot of chronic conditions that have been kind of present over time, or people have reached a tipping point. But it does happen occasionally that we get an acute injury. And Lillie will talk about her accident in a moment, but it's very valuable to have an established relationship with a provider that can help you manage acute injuries and pains. And Lillie's case is a really great example. She was injured, but still needed to be able to rehearse and perform 2 weeks later. So when she came in to see me after the initial injury, that was the very first thing that we needed to figure out in the assessment. So Lillie, will you tell us a little bit about the accident?
I was on my deck, just about to go down the stairs, when my foot slipped out. I caught some air, came crashing down on my back on the edge of the top stair.
So after the accident, how soon after you went to urgent care?
It was actually the next morning. So after I fell, I just kept moving. I thought that I could just walk it off. And when I finally allowed my body to rest, it let me know how angry it was. So early the next morning, I started having immobilizing spasms and tingling down my arm, and my hands were so cold that my nails started turning purple. That was the time I decided to go to ER.
And what did they find?
That it was just a contusion. Didn't have any broken ribs, no hairline that they can see. There was no hairline fractures.
Okay. Because it was an acute injury and a fall, we definitely wanted to know that there was no fracture, because clearly if she had a fracture, we would not be having her dance. But since we were clear from the ER and negative x-rays, then I was able to do an exam to really determine where the injuries were. And what we were really trying to figure out was, can she dance even though there's an injury? And what we found is that because she was able to resist muscle testing with some pain, but able to breathe through it, and she was able to do some active range of motion, we decided that if she eased into it, did a lot of pain management, and was treated multiple times during the course of the next 2 weeks, that she would be able to rehearse and perform without causing any additional damage to the area, but with the understanding that it would be uncomfortable, but that she would get management through the course of the 2 weeks. So Lillie and I both decided that we were comfortable with that. And so we were able to bring in another provider here at Evolution, Danielle Melanson. She is an acupuncturist, and she helped with the muscle spasms and the joint pain. But one of the components that was really important for us to also address is that this accident was very reminiscent of a previous injury that Lillie had sustained. And so we needed to be able to go back and scoop up some of the mind-body connection from that accident and help continue to heal that, because it was so intimately tied with the pain and sensations that she experienced with this accident. So Lillie, will you tell us a little bit about the accident that you'd had before?
So I was 17, just crossing the street to go to school, and a car went through the crosswalk, hit me going about, they say about 45 miles an hour. I flew 40 feet, but I didn't see the car, so I was more like a rag doll. Mm-hmm. So I didn't break my back, thank God. It was basically multiple breaks in my leg, and I also bruised my back.
Mm-hmm. And there was something that reminded you with this accident?
It was basically feeling like a rag doll that was tossed. So when my foot slipped out and I caught some air, I remembered thinking, here we go again.
So it was really important not only to address the immediate injuries that happened with this accident, but it was also a really good opportunity to go back and address any of the remnants in her mind-body connection, in the memories that her nervous system was bringing up of that previous accident. And that was another way that the acupuncture was very helpful for us as well. And so through the course of the 2 weeks, we saw Lilie almost every other day because it was a lot of rehearsal time and her injury was really acute. We used a combination of soft tissue work. So we did Graston and cupping. We supported the tissues and the joints with taping. She was able to use topicals like arnica. We live in Oregon, and so she had access to a pain stick with CBD. That was also very helpful for her. And we were able to incorporate a little bit of all of these treatments as she needed through the various days. Some days she needed a little bit more than others. And the combination of that with the acupuncture and her home management of using heat and keeping active range of motion and doing beginning rehab exercises tied everything together to really allow her to push through those 2 weeks without further injury. So Lilie, could you tell me from a performer's side how this experience compared to you with previous experiences where you had been injured and you either had to dance or you had to cancel a performance?
Yeah, so this injury was bad. I mean, it was just very painful. And my biggest concern was I couldn't tell if I was doing any more damage. And then when you perform, when the adrenaline kicks in, you can't tell if you're doing too much. So this, doing the treatment helped me learn that the movement was okay. And then having the added support, like the taping of my back, just allowed me to concentrate on my art and not my injury.
Great. Well, I hope that this really demonstrates how valuable it is to have a provider that you're already comfortable with, that knows your body, somebody that you can turn to in times of a crisis or an acute injury like this. It's definitely great to do preventative work or to go back and work with chronic pain issues so that you don't have those affecting your performance or your art. But when you have an acute injury and you feel very vulnerable and afraid, it's really valuable to have somebody in your corner that you already trust. So I'm really grateful, Lilie. Thank you for joining us today and sharing your experience. And I hope that you are all able to hopefully find a provider that you can work with that will help you through, hopefully, no acute injuries, but if you have them, that you have somebody in your corner. Thank you. She's the best. Yes.